Wow, they're calling this potting mix? That looks like sticks and bark. Let's go back to organics.
Hi guys, today I'm going to review a popular potting soil or potting mix. This is Miracle Gro Moisture Control potting mix. You can pick this up at Home Depot, and in my experience I've found that a lot of potting mixes have mostly wood chips and very little actual like soil or compost or anything else in there. It's mainly wood chips and just a little bit of compost to color the wood chips. So I am going to sift and wash this bag of soil to see what out of this entire bag, this is a 50 quart bag, see what out of this entire bag is actually wood chips, what part of it is actually small pieces that you might consider soil or compost, and just show you guys exactly what is inside of this stuff. So I'm going to tear it open and start sifting. Well guys, to be honest, I'm actually impressed. So this is that 50 quart bag after going through a 1/4 inch screen. This is basically all the wood chips that we got out of that. So not very many. Actually, I'm actually quite impressed. I mean, you can already tell that that's wood chips. You don't need me to wash that or anything like that, but yeah, that's definitely some wood chips and various other things that are just kind of, I think some of this is like wood pulp, like sawdust wood pulp or something like that, that's kind of stuck together. But this is the actual stuff. Now, a couple things I wanted to show you is it has these little tiny orbs in it that are kind of yellow, right? I don't know if you can see that on the camera. This tiny little yellow orb, and if you squeeze it, it pops. So it's like a little tiny grape. But I believe that that is the moisture control that they're advertising on the bag. So these little orbs are supposed to absorb water and then re-release it or something after you've watered. Also, a lot of the perlite in here, a lot of other soil companies are using styrofoam, and you can tell because when you crush it, this one will actually crumble into little tiny pieces, and it crushes into these little tiny pieces. So that's how you can tell that this is actually perlite rather than styrofoam. The one thing that I did notice is the soil is actually quite wet, which makes you think, you know, that the bag is heavier than it actually is. But the second part about this is there's a lot of organic matter still in this. I'm not sure if this is like peat moss or coconut coir or what exactly all of these little pieces are. There are some wood chips and things that made it through the screen, but I don't know that this is compost, but it's definitely some form of organic matter. And when they have it in the bag like that, it being wet, it actually starts to warm up and compost. So that's not so much of a good thing, because that bag had been sitting in the shade the entire night, and it's not that hot out here. And when I was sticking my hand in there to scoop it out to screen it, the soil itself was actually quite hot. So it just shows that inside that bag, I don't mind the car alarm, but inside that bag is essentially a little compost pile. So all of this organic matter is breaking down, which can be a bad thing, because if you're starting from seed, the organic matter and the composting can cause it to rot your seeds before they come up. Also, if it's getting too hot, it can burn the roots of your plants. This stuff doesn't stick together all that well, so that tells me that I don't think that there's a lot of clay or anything like that in there. I honestly don't think there's much of any actual soil. I don't think there's any sand, really, or I mean much of anything. It doesn't clump. So I don't know, that kind of makes me wonder a little bit about what exactly this is. Is this sawdust that has been colored, or what is the story of what exactly this is? Obviously, just screening by size, I can't really tell. I can't separate the different components from each other. There may also be some weed seeds in here, because as I was screening and stuff, I did find like pieces of plastic and pieces of twine and whatnot inside of here. So these wood chips obviously must have came from somewhere that they were just grinding them up and accidentally got a bunch of bags and twine and various things in it. So I mean, it's definitely not like any compost I've seen. But like I said, I'm not sure what exactly is in it, but it is pretty light and airy. But like I said, it just doesn't hold its form when you really kind of crush it. It kind of does, and then just shatters. So I don't know if these little tiny BBs are going to do a whole lot when it comes to helping you with moisture control. Just considering how few and far between they are in here. I think there's more perlite than there is this stuff. And I think there's like $1 difference or something at the store, so between this and regular Miracle Gro soil. So I'm not sure if these little BBs are worth it, but I'll let you guys decide that. But I'm actually more impressed than I thought I was going to be. So if I were to buy a soil, I'd probably still stick with the Miracle Gro soil. I do have some other soil that I've used, or potting mix that I've used, and that basically was almost completely wood chips. So it's just depending on the manufacturer. So maybe I'll do some more different types of soil. Maybe we'll review some different bags and different types, and just see which one's the best. But let me know in the comments below if you guys like this one, and if you want me to do a different bag or another type of soil, and where I can get it. So
don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more organic gardening tips and how-tos.